first I'm going to do a lab where my idea is to I want to first create a application load balancer, and I'll put couple of instances behind it. Okay, and then after that I want to create an auto scaling group, right? So for the auto scaling group, I explained last time also, but let me quickly explain you this time that what we are going to do, right? And then we'll do the same thing. So this is the these are the steps that we are going to do. So create an ALB something, and then we'll for the application load balancer. If you remember, we create a target group, right? So we put the target groups within the application load balancer, and then we'll put couple of instances behind the this target group TG1, for example, and then we'll try to access these instances through the load balancer. So that's the first part. I think we have done this many times. So after that, we want to create an auto scaling group with this load balance. So in the auto scaling group, when the auto scaling group start launching the instances, we want those instances to be behind this target group one. Okay, that's the idea. So for that, what we'll do for the auto scaling group, what we'll do, we'll create an EC2 instance first, and then we will set up this instance with everything whatever we need, right? So with the bootstrap script and any installation that we want, right? For example, web server. And so for this lab we'll do just this, but generally if you want to do DB or something, databases or something, if just in case you want that, you will install that. You will install any other software if you want. So you will do all the things and make this EC2 instance your main copy, right? Or the golden source copy or the prototype copy, whatever you call it. And then we'll access this using the IP address like that, like we have been doing so far. We'll access the index.html. We'll see that everything is working. So once this is all set up, after that, what we'll do, we'll create an AMI of this, right? Create a Amazon machine image. Okay, so when you create an AMI, it will create an exact copy of that instance, right? So anything you install, any DB or any software like Java or anything, that will be available if you create another instance with this AMI, right? So AMI is like a copy, machine image. So from this image, you can create multiple instances or any instances later, right? So that's the purpose of the AMI. So we'll create the AMI from our golden copy of the EC2 instance. And then from that AMI, we will create a launch template from that AMI, right? That's the important. And then while you are creating the launch template, you can specify your further things, like if you want to specify anything in the user data, which is the bootstrap script. If you want to specify something at the launch, when the EC2 instance is launching, you can specify there. After that, we'll create an instance from this launch template. So now this launch template will be used for the auto scaling group. But before I create the auto scaling group, I just want to make sure one more time that everything is good with this launch template. So for the testing, I'll create another instance from this launch template, and I'll verify that everything is readily accessible, that I don't have to do anything. As soon as the instance is launched, index.html can be accessed, right? So that will be used for the health check. And if you remember, I explained last time also that this is important step, because if because of any reason your index.html, which I'm going to use for the health check, if that is not accessible, then your auto scaling group will create, it will keep creating the instances, and then health check will fail. So it will stop it, terminate, and launch another instance, right? So it will keep doing, and it will create a lot of, like, it will be in a loop. It will keep creating the instances, and you will see, maybe you will see some bill. So that's why I'm just doing this additional step to verify that my launch template is perfectly fine. In the last lab, at this step, we were seeing there was some problem, right? And that was good. Because of this testing, we were able to know that there was some problem. If I had done without this thing, then it would have started creating a lot of instances. Okay, so this is after this thing, our launch template is all good. So now we are ready to create the auto scaling group. So we'll go and create an auto scaling group with the desired capacity and min max. We have seen this many times, and then what we'll do in this time, we are going to put the instances behind the application load balancer, right? So we will specify that when the auto scaling group launches the instances, they should go behind this target group 1 that we already created up here. Okay, so we'll see that it will create 3 new instances because our desired capacity is 3, and then it will put behind that target group. So the target group will now have total 5 instances because the auto scaling group has created 3, and here manually I had added 2 already when I started this application load balancer with this TG1. Okay, so total 5. Now if you now let's say we are going to stop one of the manually added servers, right? So 1A is added here manually, so we'll stop it. So when we stop it, nothing so that will be stopped, but auto scaling group doesn't even know about that, so it would not do anything because its desired capacity 3 is still maintained, right? Because it launched 3, they are still running. Now after that we'll stop one more instance, but that was launched by the auto scaling group. So when we stop that one, now auto scaling group will come into picture. It will terminate that because it will see that it is unhealthy. Index.html is not accessible. It will terminate it, and then it will launch a new instance to keep the desired capacity 3, which is the the desired one, right? And that's it. So after that, we'll delete the auto scaling group, and then you will see that when we delete the auto scaling group, it will terminate all the instances launched by the auto scaling group. It will terminate all those 3 instances which were running at that time and launched by the auto scaling group, but it will not terminate anything which was added manually, right? So here I added 2, 1A and 1B. 1A I stopped here, but 1B I had not stopped, so it will still be running and you can still access it behind the load balancer. And finally I'll just delete the load balancer also, and delete target group 1 also. So everything is deleted, but this instance 1B is still running, so you can still directly access it. Load balancer is not there, but you can still access that particular instance because it is still running, right? So that's what we are going to do. Let's quickly go to the screen now, and I'll start creating the instances. So I'll go to EC2, and you see, for the people who are seeing this screen first time, like I think only Abhishek, so this is the place, right? So you can go here from the services also. You go to services and you type here any service you want to go, right? So if I want to create a server EC2 instance, right? So any server if you want to create on AWS, we call it EC2, right? So Elastic Compute Cloud Servers, right? So you will go to the EC2, and here you see the EC2 dashboard, right? So I have the instances running currently 0, right? Because if it is running, the bill is on, right? So you will get some bill. But when you have the free tier, so just keep in mind, maybe I think if you keep running one instance T2 micro for whole month, I think still you would not pay anything. But let's say I'm just giving an idea, right? So but it's a good best practice for you to launch an instance, do something, because you're just doing experimentation, and then stop it. Don't let it running. But just to give an idea, if you keep one instance running always, you should be okay. You will almost be like utilizing the full capacity, but you will not go beyond that. But if you launch 2 instances and keep running for the whole month, you will start seeing some bill, because I think it is, I think about like if you convert in hours, so like whatever hours we have in a month, that many hours, about that many hours is free for the free tier usage. Okay, so always create instance. Once you are done, stop it. So I'm going to create, yeah, so I'm going to create an instance now. So I have already these instances here, right? And then okay, So first, let's go step by step. So what I'm going to do is, first I want to do this part where I will put two web servers, like one A, I'm just naming it so that we know. So I'm naming it web server 1 US East 1A and web server 1 US East 1B. So basically I have one server, for example, and I want to like put the same softwares on these two servers, and then I want to put them into two different locations for the high availability, right? So I'm putting one in US East 1A, another one in US East 1B. So there are two different areas. We call them AZ, right? Availability zone. So there are two data centers, same, like same application, same everything same, just for the high availability I'm putting it into two different data centers, and then I'll put them a load balancer so that the traffic is distributed. So that's the first thing we are going to do. We have done this many times. So I have this server still available. I did not terminate it yet. I stopped it but did not terminate. If you terminate it, it will disappear. So web server 1 US East 1A and web server 1 US East 1B. These two servers I'm going to start instance. So now it will start, and these ones are the Linux 2 Amazon Linux machines. Okay, so I'm starting them, and then because I want them to be behind a load balancer, so what I'll do meanwhile, so they are coming up. If I refresh it, you will see the status, right? So 1B is in running, 1A, sorry, this one 1A, it's in pending state. It will take some time. Meanwhile, I'll go and create a load balancer for this. So if you scroll down, you will see this load balancing section. Okay, so here in the load balancers, then you will see three types of, if you create a load balancer, you will see three types of the load balancer: application, classic, and network load balancer. Classic was the old way of doing. Application load balancer is the most, like in most cases you will be using this. It has the intelligence built in, so you can read the URL path, right, route and everything, and accordingly you can route it. So that's what you're going to use. But when you create a application load balancer, then you can, so within that you create target groups, and then within the target group you put the instances. So first I'll create a target group. Okay, I will create a target group. Be careful about the load balancers. If you create them, stop it immediately, because otherwise you will be paying. Even though you are in the free tier, still you will see some bill. Okay, so I'm creating a target group. Let's say I'm calling it target group 1, and the port, HTTP port for this target group is 80, where it will be listening to for the connections or the requests. And then here you specify the VPC, so I'm choosing the default VPC. I just assume it's like your network, right? Your private network within the AWS. So like your machines or something, they don't go into a common network within the AWS, but within the AWS, for each account there's a kind of a private network, right? So where it goes, and you can maintain that. Then protocol is HTTP and health check. Here you configure the health check. So what do you want to use for health check? I want to use HTTP. And what I want to use for the health check, I want to just see the index.html in the root. Advanced health check settings. Here I'll just configure the timeouts or the thresholds. So healthy threshold, after how many checks you want to say that my instance is healthy. I just want to say after 2. Unhealthy, 2 is okay. I want to just, if 2 times it tries to access index.html and it's not able to access, it will mark it as unhealthy instance, and then it will terminate this thing and then launch another instance. Timeout 5 seconds, so the amount of time in seconds during which no response means a failed health check. So if it tries to access index.html and if server is slow or something, If it doesn't see a response back in 5 seconds, it will mark it as a unhealthy instance. And this is the number of like seconds between each health check, right? So I want to say, let's say 30 is okay. That's fine. Success code, okay, all good here. And create. So now it's a target group, right? So basically in the old way of doing, right, so you just had the classic load, for example, classic load balancer, you simply put the instances behind that, that's it. And then you hit the classic load balancer, it sends the request to the instances which are behind this. For application load balancer, you can group within the target group. So you have one application load balancer, then you can create one target group for your web servers, and then it will be behind the load balancer. And then you can create another target group, for example, for your different things, right? Couple of servers for a different website or something, you can do that as well. So you will create another target group, and then you put the instances behind that target group, and then target group 1 and 2 both will belong, you can add to the same application load balancer. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are just creating one target group, and I'm going to put it behind a load balancer. Will create just after this. I'm creating a target group, so I specified the configuration. Now I will tell him, I will tell which instances I want to put behind this target group, right? TG1. So I want to put these two because I just started, and these are the only ones which are running currently. So you are seeing these. If there were many, then you would have seen the other ones also here, right? So there's currently just two, so they're just showing here, and then you can choose which ones you want to put behind this. So I just want to put this one, web server 1 US East 1 and 1B, right? So these are my web servers. Okay, so then you click here so that they get added to this target group. Now they are here, they're still pending because they're still not behind any application load balancer. So create target group, so it's created. Now what I'll do, so this is target group that was required for the load balancer, so I created it. Now I'll go to the load balancers, I'll create an application load balancer and specify this target group there. But before that, I want to go and see how are my instances which I launched. So I'll go here, instances, I launched these two. So if I click here, I just want to see the IP address. So this is my function. Copy the public IP or the public DNS, you can copy, right? So be careful about that. And then try to access it. Okay, so this is AZ, which is availability zone US East 1A. Okay, similarly, we'll go and see the other one. This is 1B, and this is the public IP for this one. I'm just making sure that they are accessible, right? So it's accessible now. 1A and 1B, both of them are accessible. So we have already created a target group and put these two instances behind that. Let's add the target group to a load balancer. So I'll go to the load balancers and create a load balancer. These are the available ones: application, network load balancer, and there was a classic load balancer. They keep changing very frequently, right? So that's why, like, even if you follow a book or something, I would say, like, be very careful. If you're reading a book, you can read things from the AWS documentation, it's okay. But if you read a book or something, be very careful because they change very frequently. I think last time we saw it, it was showing here a classic load balancer, I think in our last session itself. Okay, so anyways, so but we are interested in the application load balancer. So create it, and we'll call it our test ALB1, And like I said that when you use the load balancers, you can use a internet facing where your request will come directly to the load balancer and then it will forward it further. And you can also use that as an internal load balancer. For example, that when the request has come into like through this load balancer into your application server, and then after like from there, from the applications load balancer, sorry, from the application servers, when you want to access down, right, then you can put one more layer of the load balancers for further applications, like any applications which are down from there. So those are the internal ones. Okay, then you can specify IPv4 or IPv6. So v4 is still most used, and then you specify the listeners here, which port you are listening to. I'm listening to the plain HTTP request, for the plain HTTP requests, and on the port 80. Okay, and then you tell the availability zones. So this is my default VPC in the Northern Virginia region. That's my region selected. Okay, so like you can have like there are multiple regions where AWS is available. You choose a region. So by default, I have this Northern Virginia. So I'm seeing all the data centers which are called the availability zones within this particular region. So wherever you want to like get your instances, that you specify here. So I just want to use 1A and 1B, these two places, right? Okay, so then we will specify a security group for this thing. So basically in the security group, I want to say that my port 80 should be opened for the outside world, because we are getting the request from the outside world. So the port 80 should be opened. So you need to specify it somewhere, and that place is the security group where you specify this. So I'm using select an existing security group because we have created a lot of already. Otherwise you can create a new one. So you just say create a new security group, and you see here it is giving you one rule, that TCP port 80, right, is opened. So you can use this thing, but I want to use a existing one. So I will use my web server security group. It already has port 80 opened. Okay, so target, now here you will specify in the application load balancer, here you will say that what target groups you want to add to this. So a new target group, then you can create a new one, but I want to use an existing target group because we already created one, right? TG1 we already created, so we can choose TG1 here, and then it populates the things from that configuration. This all is coming from that configuration, and then the everything is coming from there, right? So register targets, these are the targets which we already put. These two instances we had already set up with the target group 1, so that's why it's coming here. After that we'll just review it one more time, everything is fine here, and then just create it. Successfully created the load balancer. So if you go here, it will try to provision the load balancer, and once the load balancer is available, right, so you see for the load balancer you don't see a public IP, you will see a DNS. It's like a domain, right? For example, when you buy a domain name, it's like that. So this is the domain name. Using this you will access the load balancer. So simply what we did, created a load balancer with two instances, and those instances were accessible directly over the internet using the public IP. Now we want to access them through the load balancer, so the traffic is distributed for these instances, right? So if you have any server or anything from where you are calling these web servers, right, so you can use this thing, this IP of the load balancer instead of the direct instance public IP. Okay, so for example in your index.html, we'll see what happened with the load balancer, right? So EC2. So we'll go to the load balancers. We'll see how it is doing now. Okay, it is active. And if I go to the listeners, okay, so in the listeners, you will see here your rules, right? So you can, like I think in the load balancer session, we talked in detail that we can configure routes and everything here. You can specify more rules. But for 8.0, our default currently is for the target group 1. If you go here, you will see that target group, and this is the targets. These are the two instances which we put it here manually. US is to 1A and 1B, and they are healthy instances. So all good now. So we have the, in the load balancer, this is our DNS of the load balancer. Now if I access this thing directly in the web browser, then it will start forwarding the request to the those instances round robin fashion, right? So 1A and then click again. So 1B, click again, 1A, 1B, right? So now those two instances are behind this application load balancer. So that's first part of the lab that we wanted to achieve. Now, what we want to do next is that we have two instances in a real world scenario. Let's say we had these two web servers, or let's say our front end servers, right? Let's say our Angular application is deployed on them. And then from there on, we forward the request to our application server, which could be JBoss or something, or Tomcat or something, right? So these two web servers are currently running in 1A and 1B, and they are behind a load balancer. So they are good enough for the high availability. So that's good. But now the requirement is that I want to be able to handle the unexpected loads as well, right? So for that, like if the load is too much, then our two instances may not be able to answer the requests. So for that, what I want to do, I want to do the auto scaling. So if the load goes beyond something, or the CPU usage, for example, of the instances goes beyond 80% or something, then I want to automatically create further instances, right? So that's the auto scaling we want to do. So same setup, we have the load balancer, we have the instances behind it. It's the same setup, but we just want to create an auto scaling group, so that using the auto scaling group, the new instances go behind the same target group which we have just created, right? So let's create the auto scaling group for this thing. Okay, so we have two running. I'm going to create one instance. Actually, I already have because we have created AMIs many times, so we already have few AMIs here, but I don't want to use them because I just want to give one more chance for you guys to see creating the instance and creating AMI and everything from there, right? So I'll go here, I'll create a new instances, and then okay, so for people who are seeing the first time, so if you want to create a new instance, you go to instances and then launch instance. And then here you can also see that you can launch instance directly, or you can launch instance from a template, right? So launch template. So here what I'm going to do, first I'm going to create a launch instance, and then I'll show you how to create a AMI machine image from that instance, and then we'll see how to create a launch template from that AMI. And then once the launch template has been created, you can use that launch template as your golden copy, and then you can start launching any further instances from that template. And then you can also use that template for creating instances using a auto scaling group, right? So I'm going to create a launch instance, and then here first time when you guys are doing that, be careful that it is free tier eligible. So you can just choose the first one, which Amazon Linux 2 AMI, select it, and then so that's about the operating system and initial softwares, and then you will specify the capacity, right? So here I want to take is You see here T2 micro, it is okay, but memory is not, it's just 1 gig, right? So be careful, because if you have some heavy loads running, it may not work, right? So for example, I have currently one web application which is running on production, and I'm using a T2 micro, but there's no load because it's just running there. Maybe like a couple of people or somebody just access that, so that's okay as a web page. But if you start like if people start accessing it like actively, then it may not work, right? So then I'll have to get a higher machine. Okay, so T2 micro I'm choosing for this one, free tier eligible. So all good. So I'll go to the, I chose that, and now I'm going to do some setting here. Number of you can launch multiple instances also using this. So I'm launching just one, and then here you specify the VPC. So I'm in the Northern Virginia. I'm using the default VPC, and if you don't specify, it will default subnet in any availability zone. So any availability zone. So basically, in this Northern Virginia, there are 6 availability zone. It can go to any of them, right? So I'm okay. I don't care about that. But if you care, then you can choose that particular availability zone as well. And then placement group, okay, don't worry about that all. And then I'll come to the IAM role, which I usually choose S3 full access, just in case I want to showcase something for the S3 integration. IAM role, for people who are not clear about that, we had already session on this. So IAM role is how you create roles in AWS and how you do the authentication and authorization for that. So I created a role for S3 access. Okay, so I just use that. If you have more roles created, you will see more here in the drop down. You can choose them. And then if the role is chosen, then from that particular instance which we are creating, then you have a direct way of accessing the resource from the that particular service, in this case S3. Okay, then after this, everything is fine. Here in the user data section, that's my launch script. So remember it, we call it user data. Also, you will see in the certification examination about the user data thing, that's the bootstrap script or the user data, and then you specify your things here. These will be launched, these will be run at the instance launch time. So what I want to do, I want to say these things there. You will go to that prompt, and then yum update -y, it's updating the operating system patches. Then install httpd, use anything else, right? For example, Tomcat or something, then you can use that as well, right? So in that case, so this is a powerful thing, right? So what you can do here, you can specify that, okay, my Tomcat and my, let's say, my application are deployables, they are available somewhere, so you can put them in S3, and then you can specify here that I want to download my Tomcat from the S3 bucket. Let's say in my S3 bucket I have a softwares bucket, and then from softwares you can download the Tomcat here, and then you can download your application deployables, and then whatever, right? So like a Unix script, whatever you already have in your projects, right? So you can set up all those things, and then you can set up your machine from here. For in our case, I'm just doing operating system patches installation, and then I'm doing a HTTPD Apache web server. I'm installing that. I'm starting the service Apache, and then I'm putting that HTTPD service in the configuration here, so that it is always started whenever it is whenever your instance is restarted, this service will be automatically on. After that, I'm going to this location cd var www html, right? That's the root location for the Apache. For example, like people who are working on the Tomcat, right? So you go to the Tomcat web apps, and then you deploy your applications there. So it goes here, and then I'm creating an index.html here. So health check successful, for example, and that's it. So this is all my bootstrap script or user data script. And then I will So this creating, we are just creating the instance, right? So we have, you see here, we have the steps, right? So we are at this step, then you can add storage. So by default it's taking 8 gigs. I'm okay with that of storage. And then add tags, you can do some tagging, some kind of labels, right? If you want to just say that environment, and then you can specify test, right? So for other instance, you can say environment prod or something like that. Then security group. So you have to specify a security group, and we are going to use this as a web server. So port 80 should be open. Hello? Hello? So like I was saying that for the web server, I just need the port 80 to be opened, and SSH, because if you want to access the machine from your local, right? So that's for there you will use a SSH port to be opened on 22. So you can create a new security group, very like this one you already have. Just add one more rule here, and just go and say that okay, I want to open the port for the HTTP, right? And then 80, and that's it. And then you just go, and it will create a new security group like this. You can rename it, you can say my test security group or something, right? So that's how it works. I don't want to create because I already have so many. Actually, I have to clean them up, right? So but what I'm going to do, I already created one, so I'll use my web server security group, and it's the same thing, right? Here if you see the ports, 80 is opened for the IPv4 connections and IPv6 connection, as well as we have the SSH port open on 22, right? So we are all good with this. Review and launch. Amazon Linux 2 AMI T2 micro security group is this one. These ports are opened. So all good. So we'll launch it, and then when you launch it, how will you access this machine from your local? So for accessing that, you will need to have a key, and that's why you can choose an existing key pair, or you can create a new key pair. But I'm going to use an existing key pair because we already have so many for these ones. So Route 53 lab key, but make sure that you have the access to this thing, right? Because I know where I have stored it. If you're creating it, right, then you will download it at that time. But here I'm saying that I'm using the existing one, this one, and I'm acknowledging that I already have access to this thing, right? So launch instances. So it is launching this instance. I'll go here. And you will see the state, right? So it is pending currently. This is an instance ID T2 micro. I want to give it a name so that I know, I can quickly identify. So I will just say test. That we are going to use as a kind of a golden copy. Okay, so this is running now. So here it is just, it has put a filter here for this particular instance ID. If I close this, then I'll see all of my instances. So 1A, 1B, these are already running, and they were already put behind the application load balancer. Now this one we have just now, we just created it, and we specified our user data script. So if the script has worked successfully, then it would have installed the Apache HTTPD, and it would have created that index.html, right, which we put there. This is the script that we used. So there should be an index.html created with the health check successful content there. So I'm just checking the status, still not showing anything here. take some time to bring this up. It is initializing. So this is the instance that we have launched, this one. I'll take the IP address, the public IP. Okay, and then if everything is fine, right, then I should be able to access it. Okay, so if you see that we did not need to even access this machine, right, and set up anything there, right, because we specified those steps in the bootstrap script, right? So that's why we did not even need to go there, and that new instance is working fine. The health check is successful for that, right? We are able to access the index.html. That's what we are doing here, right? This thing. So this means that this golden copy is working good, because without doing anything, as soon as it is launched, we are able to access the index.html. Okay, for the people who forgot or who don't know yet how to access that machine, right? So you can access it multiple using multiple ways, right? The easiest of them is that if you have the uh, you can use the putty. Okay, the putty is the best thing I think you use in Office. uh, so putty, you can use putty, or you can use a in the browser there is a SSH extension that you can use as well, right? But I will use the SSH command because I have that installed. So I think it comes with the Windows 10. It was already there. So what I'll do, I'll go to the folder where I have my keys, right? Remember when last step when I was launching, it was asking for a key, right? To create a key or a download, use existing key, right? So I used the existing one. So it is in my downloads here, route 53 lab key, this one, right? So I'll just go here and then I'll launch the prompt here, and then I'll do the SSH, and EC2 user is the default user that is created for the instance for the Amazon Linux, and then you specify the IP address -i, and then that key, that's the key, route 53 lab key.pem, that I had already downloaded, and for this particular instance I just used it, right? So if you have this, then you just access it, elevate the privilege. Okay, so you are here, and then if you go to the CD var, so you are seeing these directories here because the Apache server was installed, that has created these ones. And then you see the index.html because if you see the user data script, we had this thing here. Because of that, it has created the index.html at the launch time. Okay, so this is our index.html. Assume that this is my whole website entry point, and then behind this we have the whole website. Okay, so it's all good here. I think I'll not need this. I'll close it. So in the steps, if you see, we have got our EC2 instance, specify the bootstrap script, use the IP to access the index.html. We are able to access it. Now we'll create a AMI from this instance, right? So you go here, and this is our golden copy or whatever instance, and then from this I want to create an AMI machine image, right? So that later that image can be used to launch further instances. Even what I can do is that if this machine is set up, let's say with all the database software and everything, right? Then what I can do, I can create an AMI, and I can even share with you guys, right? So I'll show you. We can do that as well. But anyways, first thing is that I want to create, you go here, image and templates. So create image. You can create a template from instance directly from here, if you remember, right? So you can do that as well, but I don't want to do that because then it will only create a template, right? So template is about the configurations, but it would not take with this the volume, the hard drive. That image it will not take, right? So if you install any operating system or sorry, any database software or any Java or anything, or in this case the index.html and all the Apache, that would not be present if you create a template, and then from template if you launch an instance, you can launch that. It will have the configuration, but it would not have that drive, right? Hard drive where we are putting these things. So that's why I'm doing the create image. Okay, so I'm creating an image. I'll just say test. And even November and my okay. Okay, so okay, we are creating the image from here and create image. So you know the snapshot, right? So if you have a machine, it has a hard drive and everything, you can create a snapshot also. Snapshot is like a backup, so you have that backup ready, and then from that backup also you can, that snapshot also you can create an AMI, right? So ideally the AMI is created from the backup itself, a snapshot. So what you could have done, you could have created a snapshot first, and then from the snapshot you create a AMI. But when you directly create a AMI, what it does both of these two steps into one. So what it will do, it will go here. If you go in the AMIs, it is creating this test 21, this AMI, right? It is pending. But at the same time, it will also create a snapshot because it needs a snapshot. It is automatically creating that. So AMI is nothing, it's only a reference, like it will just refer to that particular snapshot. Even for the AMIs which we use from the AWS at the launch time, right? So they are AMIs have the references, but they also have the snapshots. Okay, so if I, this is the AMI, but if I go to the snapshot here, so we have some snapshots. Okay, so if you see here, this one, the first one that was created manually by myself, but the rest one, if you see, they are created by create image, because when you created the image, it will automatically create a snapshot for that. Okay, so if you see here, date time, so November 2019, all these things, but we don't have anything for 21 November because it is still in process. So we have AMIs. Once this is available, we'll see that also created a snapshot. Okay, and like I was saying that once your AMI, for example, this AMI is ready, right? When then you can launch instances from this AMI directly, or you can create a launch template from this, and then you can use the launch template to create the further machines. Also, I'm just showing, like if you select this one, if you go here actions and modify image permissions, and here if anybody has any, like created an account, you will see the account number, and if you give me the account number, if I put it here, add permissions, and then this AMI will be accessible in your account. Okay, so how you will access, you will go into your account, and then instead of owned by me, you will say my private images, right? So then anything which has been shared, that will also start showing in your account. Okay, so that's how you share your AMIs with other accounts. Okay, so these are owned by me. So this is the one which just created. this AMI, right? And then let's see about the snapshot. So 21st November, it would have created a snapshot here, right? So this is a snapshot. Now, if you delete this snapshot, it would not, then AMI would not work because AMI is referring to this snapshot. AMI has the reference of this thing. The main thing is the snapshot itself. Okay, so AMI has got created, and now what you will do, like I said, you need for the auto scalings. All of this we are doing because when you create an auto scaling group, you need a launch template for that, right? So basically, my idea is to get the launch template. Okay, so I go to the launch template. Now, for the launch template, like I said, you if you want, you can create a launch template directly from here. Like create a launch template and specify the parameters there, whatever you want, configuration. Or you can create the launch template directly from the instance as well, right? Then it will get the configuration of that instance, but it will not get the hard drive, right? Where I had the index.html and all those things installed. So that's why I put one more step there, and I created a AMI first, and then from the AMI I will create the launch template. Okay, so launch template, and then I'll create launch template. Okay, so here I'll say November launch template, and then for the template versions you can have multiple like templates, you can have multiple versions. So the initial auto scaling guidance, if you want to use it for the auto scaling, yes I want, so I'll mark this. And then here you can specify like source template. If you want to create this template from another template, you can do that as well. And then here you specify the Amazon machine image, right? So here what you can do, like if you are like simply doing is like just for demo or something, right? At that time you did not like, here like we first created a good AMI, right? We created an AMI for a golden thing that you don't need to do if you want to simply showcase something. In that case you can simply use a Amazon Linux 2 or something here, right? But now I don't want to use any standard. I want to use my own AMI because it is all set up well with all the softwares required and everything, right? So here, if I say 21st November, so under the my AMIs, right, you will see these ones. This is my 21st test 21 November AMI that we created today, right? So it will start showing up here. You can use that. And then instance type and everything you can also specify here, or don't include in the launch template, then later you have to specify. I want to specify here T2 micro, and key pair also I'll specify. I want to use my route 53 lab key. So everything set up. All these instances, if you want to access them, you can access using these keys. Okay, then security group, I want to like, I'm going to use these instances as a web server. So I'll use a my EC2 web server, this one. Okay, storage is okay. Network interfaces I don't need, but then in the advanced details you can just see few things here, and then here you can also specify. Again, here in the launch template you can also specify any further things if you want to do, right? For example, downloading something from the S3 and then installing something, you can do that as well here. For this thing we don't need, so we'll create the launch template. View launch template. Okay, so we have created this one, this one, test 21 November LT, that we have just now created. So basically our launch template has been created. Okay, this is the launch template. It has been created now. So the next step is that I want to use this launch template for my auto scaling group. Okay, but before that, like I said, we want to test it, right? So this step, launch template has been created, but I want to quickly launch one instance and see if it is good. Okay, so I'll choose this one. This is my launch template and launch instance from this template. Okay, so everything is all set up here. We don't want to specify anything else. Launch instance from template. So this is just for the verification purpose that launch template is good. Okay, so this is running. Status checks still in process, but let's see if we can access it. So if we go to the public IP and try to access this, so in my notes sometimes I'm saying that it should be readily available. Readily I mean that you don't need to even access the machine. Just simply go here and enter, and you should be able to access it. If it is readily available, then it means that your launch template is good, because any instances launched from there, from that, the index.html HTML and HTTPD and everything is set up, so it will be available for the health check. So that's important for the auto scaling group. Okay, so now then create auto scaling group. Then auto scaling group name, ASG1 test 21st November. Okay, then you will choose a launch template. Like I was saying, you have a launch configuration also. You can use this one as well. Okay, you can use a launch configuration. I think we did this in one of the labs earlier. But launch template is the correct way of better way of doing this, because it has more features and it's more powerful. And then the launch template that you want to use for this, I want to use this one, test 21 November launch template. Okay, and then version I don't have any, so only just the default version. But if you create more version for this template, you can do that as well. Okay, so go to the next. Okay, and then network and everything is okay. Subnets, here I'll want to do 1A and 1B. So auto scaling group, I want to launch instances. Where do you want to launch the instances, right? So if you specify 1A and 1B, then it will use some algorithm and it will start launching the instances in these two availability zone, right? If you choose 3, then it will use some algorithm, and using that, it will try to equally launch the instances in those availability zones, right? So I just want to do in 1A and 1B. And then next, so load balancing. So there is no connection, like no mandatory connection or direct connection with the auto scaling group and load balancing, right? So you can create a auto scaling group and simply say that, okay, I just want to keep maintaining 3 instances, that's it. You can say that you don't even need to have a load balancer or something. So it will just create 3 instances, and any instance goes down, which were launched by this, then it to keep the number equal to the desired capacity, it will launch anything if it is required, right? So there's nothing that you need to have a load balancer. But in this use case, if you see what was the use case, right? So use case was that I had 2 web servers I put them behind the load balancer. Then my requirement was that okay, my load can go up or down. So accordingly, I just want to create more instances or delete instances behind that particular load balancer. So that was my use case. Okay, so I want to put these instances which are being launched, I want to put them behind a load balancer. So now where you want to put, so you will specify the load balancer. So like I mentioned, the important point that when you specify the load balancer, you actually specify the target group, because load balancer itself is nothing. It's a combination of multiple target groups. So which target group you want to assign these instances to, right? So I want to assign it to target group one only because I don't have anything else. If I had multiple target groups, it would start showing up here. Okay, so TG1, and then health check. What kind of health check? So EC2 health check, which is already there. Whenever you create a EC2 instance, you will see the status check there. That is for the EC2 instance, EC2 health check, which is the default one, and done by itself by these EC2 thing. But I also want to do the ELB health check using the index.html, right? And health check grace period, time amount of time. This is the amount of time until EC2 scaling group auto scaling performs the first health check, right? So when you launch the instance, you want to give some time. Maybe your instance takes some time, right? Let's say, like in a real world scenario, let's say you launch something, right? And if it is Apache, instead of Apache, it's let's say JBoss or something, and it is launching some application jars which are trying to access some database, right? So they are trying to create some let's say hibernate entities or something, right? Persistence connection or something, then it will take some time, right? So then you can specify some grace period, because otherwise it will simply try to access and fail, right? So in our case, I don't want to give that much time. 30 seconds sufficient. Okay, and then I'll go to the next. So my desired capacity, how many instances you want to have in this auto scaling group? I want to have 3, but I don't want to go below 2 also. And then my maximum capacity, I just want to keep 4, for example. Okay, then you can specify some scaling policies as well, right? So let's say I'm saying here that if average CPU utilization is going beyond 80%, then you should launch new instances, right? So that's I'm saying. Warm up. Okay, and then it's all done here. So send notification. So I can also add a notification here, right? Uh, so send notifications to SNS topics whenever Amazon EC2 auto scaling launches or terminates EC2 instances, right? So you can add notification here. SNS topic you can do. So what I'm going to do, I have this one default CloudWatch alarm topics. So it is set up and it will send to the this email ID which is configured here, right? Or you can create a new one here, specify the email ID, and then it will start sending there. Okay, so that you can do. And then next, if you want to do some, so you will see tags everywhere. So that's a way of, tag is an important and powerful tool to club things together, and they can also, these tags are also used later for identifying your resources and sometimes in the billing as well. Okay, so you can just type of label, right? So you can create a tab like saying that environment, you can say production or pad or dev or something. Okay, so this is all the setup now. It's a review page. You can see everything here. Okay, and then you will create the auto scaling group. Okay, so auto scaling group has been created. Auto scaling group 1 test 21 November, and this is a launch template for that. Instances 0 currently. Status waiting capacity, desired capacity is 3. So it will try to, now because we have created this auto scaling group, it will try to create 3 instances because our desired capacity is 3. So let me go back to the instances and see here. Okay, so let me sort it based on the creation timestamp. Okay, so this one was the for the verification, and then after the verification we have got 3 more instances launched just now, right? They are getting initialized and they are being launched by the auto scaling group. Okay, so you see just now, so on my machine it is 9:32, so it's just now they have been launched. So auto scaling group has launched these 3 instances and they should go behind that target group 1, right? So if I go now, and before that let me quickly see one of them. So if I select one of them, just want to see that it is accessible. Okay. So because of any thing, if the index.html which I'm using for the health check is not accessible, then you see it's running and then health check will fail after some time, although it is running. But if the index.html is not accessible, which I'm using for the health check, it will fail and then it will start terminating them. And then it, instead of in place of whatever has been terminated, it will create one more. So that's the loop I wanted to avoid. Okay. Quickly, I want to make sure that everything is good here for the new instances. Yes, so it means that the health check will pass and then everything should be okay. So now 3 instances has been launched by the auto scaling group, and these 2 instances, they were our original instances, and these 2 I can stop now because this was my golden copy I created, and then from the golden copy I created the AMI and the launch template, and then this was for the verification. So I'll stop them. Okay, so now we have only 1A and 1B which were manually added to the load balancer, and 3 of them which were created by the auto scaling group. Now I'll go to the load balancer and I want to verify that on the target group 1 I should have 5 instances running now, 2 manual and 3 from the auto scaling group, right? So I'll go here and then listeners, and if I go to target group 1 and in the targets I have 5 instances, all of them are healthy. 1A and 1B, these were manually launched, and the rest of the 3 were launched by the auto scaling group. Okay, so now if I go and try to access my load balancer, if I hit the load balancer now, it should round robin fashion try to route the request, distribute the traffic, right? So if I go now here, this is my load balancer DNS. It's going to US East 1B, right? Then health check successful. So this index.html is health check successful was where when I configured our auto scaling group, that one. So again, if I click, again it's going to the second one, again third one. Okay, and then after that it is going to US East 1A, it's going to 1B, then again it is going to the first of the auto scaled ones, auto scaling group 1, then second of the auto scaling group, third of the auto scaling group, and then again 1A and 1B, right? So this is how it is distributing the traffic now through the load balancer. 2 instances were manually there, 1A and 1B, 3 instances were from the auto scaling group. Okay, so this is all how you launch that. Now I wanted to also showcase quickly that it doesn't have to do anything with the manually launched instances, right? So if I go now to the instances here, I've got 1A and 1B. So let's say I want to stop this one, instance state and stop instance. Okay, so now we have got only 4, 3 of the auto scaling group ones, and then only 1B is here, 1A has been stopped, right? So 1A is gone now. We have got only 1B. So if I start accessing the load balancer now, we'll see only it will go to the those four which are up and running, right? So 1B and these three ones. So if I'll go here, I'll refresh it. So health check successful. So this is auto scaling group 1, 2, 3, and then 1B. 1 is not there, right? So it's going here. But auto scaling group doesn't have to do anything because the one which has been stopped was manually launched, right? Manually added. So it doesn't care about that. Now, if I go here and I stop one of the instances which were launched by the auto scaling group. So these three were launched by the auto scaling group. So if I'm just going to stop one of them. Okay, so what it does, it is going to stop it. I'm creating a scenario manually, right? So ideally what will happen in the production, because of some heavy load or something, one of the instances has crashed, for example, right? So that's the scenario I'm trying to recreate here. Okay, so one instance has been stopped here. It is stopping. So what it will do, auto scaling, what it does that if something has been stopped or like crashed, then it will terminate that instance, right? It's stopped. After some time you will see this one will be automatically into terminated state, and it will be gone from here. Okay, this is important step. The ones which I created manually, if I stop them, they will be in the stopped state because I created them. I have the power, I have the control. I stopped them, for example 1A and 1B, right? So 1A I have stopped, so it is in the stopped state. It will be in this state, right, until I explicitly terminate it. It will be there. So my instance is there, everything is there. Whenever I want, I can start it again. But the ones which have been launched by the auto scaling group, you see, stopped, I stopped it, or it crashes or something, whatever happens. But as soon as auto scaling group does the health check and finds that okay, it's not healthy, it will terminate that, and then in place of that, it will create a new one, right? So what will happen? It is still doing that health check and everything, and as soon as it finds that it is no longer available, it will terminate it. We'll see this after some time, it will be in terminated state, and you will see another instance launched here, right? So let me see, if I refresh it now, right? So if you see, we have three. If I go to the load balancer now, let me see what happens. 1B, right? So it's 1B and then it goes first, second, and again 1B, right? So there's just three instances. First instance, second instance, and 1B. Because the third instance has not been launched yet. It is taking some time because of the configuration which we did there, right? So first configuration is about the health check. Whatever number of seconds I have configured, after those many seconds, it will check the health, and for how many times that we have also configured. I have configured 2 times, right? So threshold was 2. So let's say the seconds between two health check is, let's say, 30. So it will do first, and then 30 seconds later it will do the second, and when both of them are failed, then it will mark that okay, now this instance is not healthy, and then it will terminate that and launch a new one. And also when it will launch a new one, right, you see now we have got 3 here, there were 2, and then another one has been launched, and after some time you will see the one which was stopped, it will be terminated. Okay, so this is the third one running. It is in the initializing state. Also keep in mind that we also specified some grace period, right? So when an instance comes up, I wanted to give it some grace period. So immediately auto scaling doesn't start doing the health checks. It will give some time so that it comes up and gets stabilized, right? So keep in mind that time also. See, go to the load balancer and try to access now. Let's see what happens. Health check 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now 3 instances are there, and then it goes to 1B. So 1, 2, 3. So that's the idea, right? So because using the auto scaling group, we configured things, and now because of that, if anything goes wrong or if the load is more, right? So I created a scenario where I just crashed one instance, but I can also create a scenario where if I log into one of the machines and I run a like loop or something so that the CPU is utilized heavily, and if it goes beyond 80%, then our scaling policy will kick in, and because of that it will launch a new instance, right? So that's one way we are like maintaining the number of instances. uh, okay, so I think this covers that part. Now I just want to show that if I just delete it, right, it takes some time to delete everything from here, but so all three are here. Let me see if there's anything else I want to show. I think we have done. So next step is that I'm going to delete the auto scaling group, and then we'll see that any instances launched by the auto scaling group will automatically be terminated. You have to refresh. Let's go here. Instance types. Okay, so now these three are all like these two are already up, fine checks, and this is also. This check you see here on the EC2 screen, it doesn't have to do anything with our index.html. This is internal by the EC2 itself. But on the load balancer and auto scaling side, there I have specified my index.html for the health checks. Okay, these ones are the internal. So now I think we are done with this. So I just want to like I said, be very careful about the load balancers. Even if it is a free tier you are currently, but you will see some bills if you start the load balancer. So stop it just after the lab. So I'm going to stop. I want to actually delete my auto scaling group, load balancers, and everything I want to delete now. And then when I delete that, all of them will be terminated by themselves. Even this one will start showing as terminated after some time. See, so now it is terminated. It's important step, right? It's important point. So the ones which are launched by the auto scaling group, they will be terminated itself by the auto scaling group. Okay, so I'm going and auto scaling groups, and I have this auto scaling group which I created today itself. I want to delete it. Auto scaling groups now here, and then it will take some time because it is trying to stop and then terminate all the instances, right? So it will show here the instances 3, then it will terminate. It will be 2, 1, and 0, right? And I just have to show one thing that when this auto scaling group is gone, so all those 3 instances launched by this are gone, right? But still at this point my load balancer is still there, right? And behind the load balancer I still have one manual instance still running, right? So if I go and try to access it, I should be able to access that 1B still, right? So now just 1B, because the rest of them health check successful, which was coming from the auto scaled ones, auto scaling group instances, so it's gone. So just one. Currently I have just one instance running behind the load balancer. Okay, so I auto scaling group is deleting, and I'll go to the instances and I'll see what happened to the instances now. Okay, so still taking some time. So I think that's about it for today's session. I think we have covered everything now. I'm just trying to delete these things, and then after that, when I see them deleted, like terminated, it is basically why. So what it is doing behind the scenes, what it will do the health checks, right? So it will do the health checks and 2 successive health checks when failed, then only it will come to know that okay, now it is unhealthy and I want to terminate it, right? So it will wait for that time, and then after that it will terminate, and then we'll start seeing it here as stopped and then terminated. Okay, so that's one thing, auto scaling group which is deleted. After that, I'll go here in the load balancers. Okay, and then I'll delete this load balancer and this target group also, because I don't want to keep them. So I'll go to target groups. I have one target group here. Even if you keep it, there is no harm, because target group is nothing. I'm not running a load balancer. It's just a configuration, right? So you can keep it, but I don't want. So I'll delete this one also. Okay, so all clean. This is clean. Auto scaling groups still doing something. Okay, so delete that. Okay, so it's not is shutting down, right? So first one is shutting down, then it will terminate it, and then similarly it will terminate this one and this one as well. Everything will be terminated from here, but anything which is manual like this one, it will still keep running.